Hi everyone, welcome to the StorTrends How To series. Today we will be addressing how to install StorTrends iDATA. StorTrends iDATA is an innovative data analysis tool created by the StorTrends team at American Megatrends. If you are familiar with American Megatrends, you may know us from technologies like AMI BIOS, MegaRAID, MegaRack, and of course StorTrends Data Storage. The StorTrends iDATA tool allows you to measure your data's analytics such as capacity, capacity growth, latency, throughput, and for those interested in flash SSDs, StorTrends iDATA will also tell you the amount of frequently accessed or hot data in your environment. And this tool is of course completely free and available for download on StorTrends.com. Here to show you how to install this easy to use tool is Solutions Engineer George Rodriguez.
So I'm going to take you from start to bottom with the installation of this tool here. As you can see here, I'm already at the StorTrends.com website, and so I'm going to show you real quick where to find the actual tool. So if you go under the Resources tab, you'll see the StorTrends iDATA tool option here. So go ahead and click on that. It'll take you to the main page for the StorTrends iDATA tool. Here you can see some sample outputs of what the charts will look like once we get your results in. You can see installation instructions, other requirements, stuff like that. The main thing that we're looking for here is the Download Now button, so go ahead and click on. This will get you an email with the download link for the actual tool. Just put in your information. Be sure to put in your business information, otherwise it will reject any sort of personal information there, but as far as like email and stuff. I'll go ahead and put this in real quick for myself. And then you'll see that we'll come up with a link in the email to actually download this tool. So I'll go ahead and hit submit, and it'll be just a minute here, and we'll have a confirmation. There you are. And then in just another minute here, we should have a pop-up for my email. And there it is right there, that email here, so I'll go ahead and click on that. As you can see here, it's just a very quick thing. The download URL is right here. We'll go ahead and click on that, and our download will commence. And you can download the tool wherever you want. I'm going to put it on desktop just to make it easy for everybody. Downloads as a self-executable zip. We'll give it just a second here. Alright. I'll tell Google here to keep it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it from here. You can use whatever application you use to extract your programs here. I use IZARC, I believe is what I use. It should be coming up here in just a minute. Oh, here we go. I think it didn't pop up. You can see here we have the iDATA setup actual exe here. So we'll go ahead and extract that. I'm just going to leave it in the desktop here so we can find it easily. Alright, we'll go ahead and extract that. And now if we go to the desktop, we should see this iDATA setup right here. So we'll run through this setup here. By default, it will install it to wherever the install application is at. You can change it, so it's in your C drive, your program files, stuff like that, wherever you want it to, really. I'm going to leave it on the desktop here just for ease. I'm going to go ahead and start installation. Alright, and we can see here now this iDATA setup file here is ready for us to start running through, and so I'll go ahead and double click on that. And by default it'll install to wherever the executable is located. If you wanted to, you could put it into like your program files or something like that. It's not absolutely necessary, but I'm going to keep it on the desktop just to keep it easy. Go ahead and hit install. So you will Okay, and so we've extracted it here, and you can see on my desktop I have the iDATA setup file here. So we'll go ahead and run through that. By default, it's going to install it to the same location as your executable is located in. You could move it to the program files or something like that by clicking Browse here. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it on the desktop here. So go ahead and click Install, and it'll start running through everything. So here's the actual wizard. Start running through everything. Make sure you agree to the license agreement. Go ahead and read it. Agree to it. Hit Next. Just let it, the default location. Hit Next. Again, we'll go ahead and finish, and we're done with that. There. You can see now in my desktop, I have the iDATA shortcut right here. Go ahead, double-click on that. And the same license agreement that you saw during the install, hit Agree again. And so here we start getting into the iDATA actual walkthrough of it. So the company name, obviously your company name, I'm just going to keep it AMI, keep it simple. Contact name, it's good for you to put the contact name, that way we have somebody to address to during our analysis for our recommendation stuff. Again, make sure it's your corporate email that you're using, not a personal email there. Otherwise, it won't take properly. The rest of it, if you want to add it, you can. Those are the three main things that we really need. You can see here the bottom half of this is for configuring email. So what this will do, if you have the ability to on the server here that you've installed it on, it will automatically email the results file once the run is done. Now, you do have to keep in mind the size of the file. So obviously, the more data stores, the more disks and servers that you have in the run, the bigger the file will get. So you have to also be conscious of the size limit on your email. But if you do, you just check here the configure email box, put in your server name, IP, what have you, the credentials, and then hit proceed to go through that. I'm going to keep it off just to keep it a little more simpler here. And so now we're here at the Add Server section. And you have two options. You can either do an automatic discovery, or you can just simply manually add in the servers. I'll show you the automatic discovery first, which you have to expand here. What you'll do is you'll choose one of your networks within the server that you're running the tool on. You'll see you have an IP and a subnet. And so what this will do, once you click Start Discovery, is it'll ping every IP under that subnet, and anything that responds to that ping will be added to your potential servers here that you would add. You'd simply click this button here, and it would add it down here at the bottom. Now, keep in mind, this will go through the entire subnet, so it could be a little time-consuming depending on your subnet. If you do know the particular IPs or DNS names of the servers you want monitored, you can skip this part of it. Simply go down to manually add servers for monitoring down here. You click Add a new server. You put in the IP of the server. I'll do my vCenter here, and then you choose your Windows type. Your server type. So you have Windows, you have ESX, and you have vCenter. I'm going to go ahead and choose vCenter because this is a vCenter. If you were just doing the individual ESX hosts, you would obviously choose ESX. If you have a Windows server, obviously choose Windows. For the next release of StorTrends iDATA, we will have support for Citrix, we'll have support for Hyper-V, and we'll have support for Linux servers. At this point, we do not, however, but if they are VMs, you can simply include the data stores that they're on from within the vCenter or the ESX host, and they'll be monitored just the same. So I'll go ahead and put in the credentials for my vCenter. And what you would do is you would keep adding servers, for each server that you want to add here. I'm just going to keep it simple with those two right there. So you go ahead and you hit Next, and it will start to validate the process. Obviously, the local server is going to process immediately. The validation process, just make sure that you're using the proper username and password and stuff like that. So it'll go through each one of the servers that you have in this list right here, and there we go. I got a success there. And so now what it's going to do, start gathering the information from each server. For example, from the vCenter, it's going to gather each one of the ESX hosts and the data stores on each host itself. that we will be able to use for monitoring. And so it'll take just a minute to create that list. Obviously, the more service that you have in here, the longer it'll take to create that list. But I'll just give it another minute here. You can see here it'll pop up in a minute, but the option here for Save User Credentials is available. This is a simple option that is available for you just in case you want to run the tool more than once and you don't want to have to continue to type in your credentials in there every single time. Speaking of, there's the pop-up right there. And so what this will do is it'll save the credentials locally on your system. They won't be embedded into our file in any way, shape, or form. So there's no security flaws in it or anything like that. It's very simply just for your convenience there. So I'll go I'll hit no in this case. Oh no, I'll hit yes. All right, and so here is the next part. It's just a quick summary of the devices found on each one of the servers. You can see here, this is my local server here that I'm running the iDATA tool on. You can see I have 3 different devices here. I have a C, an R, and a W drive. You can see here my vCenter was propagated into 2 different ESX hosts. I have 220.99 and 98, both running 5.5. You can see the data stores that are on each one of the ESX servers. If you want to remove any of them, for example, if you want to remove the C drive, you simply click on the one you want, hit remove drive, and it'll go away. If you accidentally remove one that you didn't mean to, you can hit reload devices and it'll bring all of them back. So it won't just bring back the last one you removed, it will bring back all that you have removed up to that point. But there's something simple you can do back and forth there. By default, we will run it for 7 days. If you're on a time crunch for whatever reason, we have the ability to run it in as little as 1 day. Obviously, the longer that we have this monitored for, the better the information will be. For example, a full 7-day run will allow us to take a peek into any potential backup windows or something big that might be happening on the weekend. We do understand time crunches happen though, so that's why we have that option to run it in as little as 1 day. The other main point here is to choose your output file path. So where do you want to save your output file, right? So I'm going to choose a desktop just because it's easy, but the one thing I do want to point out here is please don't try to save it onto a network share. The iDATA tool will not get proper permissions for that network share, so you'll be running this for 7 days. At the end of 7 days, we actually won't have any viable information if you do save it on a network drive. So just make sure that wherever you save it to, it is local to the server that the iDATA tool is running on. Again, the desktop is a very easy, simple place to put it on, and I'm going to keep that there just so that it stays easy there. So go ahead, hit next after you've done all the configuration that you want on this page, and it'll start the performance counters and stuff for all the servers before it shows you the next the progress screen here. And so you will notice though that the performance counters on the next screen will be blank for about 10 to 15 minutes at the least, and that's because the iDATA tool is not doing anything extra. I'm going to go ahead and start the monitoring here. It's not doing anything extra on the servers that are being monitored. All it's simply doing is taking the performance counters that the servers are already collecting themselves and just pulling them from that. So for example, for a Windows server, it's simply pulling the information from perfmon. For ESX, if you were to go to one of the performance charts on ESX, we're collecting the information from the same areas that those charts are collecting from. But so you can see here, you can break this down between ESX servers and Windows servers if you do have both in your run here. For the ESX host, since I'll start here, you can see CPU utilization and memory utilization, and then you'll see, so this will show you some basic numbers. It'll show you throughput, IOPS, and latency, as a live view during the run. For ESX, VMware updates their numbers every hour, so you actually won't see any numbers here until that first hour is passed, and then they'll reload every hour from then on. But you'll be able to see, these slowly start to populate here with numbers. As we scroll down and we find the Windows server. So Windows Perfmon, it updates every 10 to 15 minutes. So in about 10 to 15 minutes here from the beginning of your run, you'll start seeing numbers here populate for the Windows server, and then those will update every 10 to 15 minutes as well. So the Windows server is definitely going to be more active than the ESX host, but both will be updated here, and so you can take a peek at this, anytime during your run, and look at what look at these simple numbers for the individual servers. Now, once your run is complete, you'll have a little pop-up. It'll say basically your run is complete. It'll also mention if you did configure the email, in that first page where we were doing all the contact info and stuff. It'll confirm that the file was sent through the email. Otherwise, you'll go to wherever you saved it. If you remember, I saved it in the desktop. So I'll go to my desktop right now. You can actually see it's already starting to write data here to this ami.idata file right here. And so you'll notice a similar file. It'll be your company name that you typed in, .idata. And if you didn't have it set to automatically send out through email, you'll simply go and you'll find your .idata file, and you'll send it back to the StorTrends team here at AMI. And we'll get a StorTrends engineer to start looking into it, and we'll be able to get your results back to you in 1 to 2 business days. And we'll set up a meeting with that same engineer that took a look into your iDATA file, and we'll be able to dig pretty deep and pretty in depth into what we saw during your monitored period here. So aside from that, once you have all this up and running, just kick back and relax. You can, continue to do whatever you need to do on this particular server. Again, there is no overhead from the iDATA run. It's a passive application. All it's doing is pulling information once it becomes available. And at the end of the run, you come back here, you check it out, and once the StorTrends team gets the iDATA file, they'll start their analysis, and we'll get back together and we'll go through what steps would need to be taken based on your numbers, recommendations and stuff like that. But other than that, as soon as you get to this point, you're good to go. So.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us for the StorTrends How To series. Again, this was how to install and run StorTrends iDATA. Stay tuned for the next installment of the How To series from StorTrends. Thanks so much.